So let me spend a few minutes talking about Senator Grassley's 2 points that he raises as to why we should deny the confirmation of Tom Perez, the president's choice for his cabinet. He talks about the fact that Tom Perez hasn't answered all the information that Senator Grassley would like to see from a House committee, a partisan effort in the House of Representatives. Not the only case. There's hardly a day or week that goes by that there's not another partisan investigation in the House of Representatives. That's the matter that the senator from Iowa was talking about. Not an effort that we try to do in this body, in the Senate, to work bipartisan when we're doing investigations. This has been a partisan investigation. Thousands of pages of documents have been made available to congressional committees by the Department of Justice. So let's get the record straight as to compliance. The Department of Justice, Tom Perez, has complied with the reasonable requests of the Congress of the United States. Spent a lot of time doing that. That's our responsibility for oversight. And we've carried out our responsibility for oversight. And any balanced review of the work done by the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division will give the highest marks to Tom Perez on restoring the integrity of that very important division in the Department of Justice. So let me talk about the second matter that Senator Grassley brings up. And that deals with the City of St. Paul case. One case dealt with the City of St. Paul in the Supreme Court Magner case. Now, Mr. President, Senator Grassley points out, and correctly so, that this is a desperate impact case. It not only affects the individual case that's before the court, it will have an impact on these types of cases generally. And when you're deciding whether to litigate one of these cases, you have to make a judgment as to whether this is the case you want to present to the court to make a point that will affect not only the justice of the litigants, but many other litigants. And you've got to decide the risk of litigation versus the benefit of litigation. And you've got to make some tough choices as to whether the risk is worth the benefit. And in this case, the decision was made not by Tom Perez, not by one person. Career attorneys were brought into the mix. And career attorneys advised against the Department of Justice interceding in this case. HUD lawyers thought that this was not a good case for the United States to intercede. Senator Grassley says, well, this was a situation where there was a quid pro quo. It was not. There was a request that the United States intercede and dismiss. Tom Perez said, no, we're not going to do that. The litigation went forward. So a professional decision was made based upon the best advice gotten by career attorneys, attorneys from the agency that was directly affected by the case that was before the courts. And a decision was made that most objective observers will tell you was a professional judgment that's hard to question. It made sense at the time. So I understand that Senator Grassley has a concern about this case. People can come to different conclusions. But look at the entire record of Tom Perez. I think he made the right decision in that case. But I know that he has a proud record of leadership on behalf of the rights of all Americans. And that's the type of person that we should have as Secretary of Labor. Tom Perez has been through confirmation before. He was confirmed by the Judiciary Committee to serve as the head of the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice. Thorough vetting was done at that time. Questions were asked. Debate was held on the floor of the Senate. And by a very comfortable margin, he was confirmed to be the head of the Civil Rights Division. And now the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee has held a hearing on Tom Perez to be Secretary of Labor. They held a vote several months ago, reported him favorably to the floor. It's time for us to have an up or down vote on the President's nomination for Secretary of Labor. I would hope all my colleagues would vote to allow this nomination to be voted up or down. I was listening to my distinguished friend from Iowa. I heard nothing that would deny us the right to have a vote on a presidential nomination. And that's the first vote we're going to have, on whether we're going to filibuster a cabinet position for the President of the United States on a person whose record is distinguished, a long record of public service, and a proven record. Then the second vote is on confirmation, and senators may disagree. I respect every senator to do what he or she thinks is in the best interest. But I would certainly hope on this first vote, when we're dealing whether we're going to filibuster a president's nomination for Secretary of Labor, that we would get the overwhelming support of our colleagues to allow our up or down vote on Tom Perez to be the next Secretary of Labor. Mr. President, I started by saying that I've known Tom Perez for a long time, and I have. I know he is a good person, a person who is in public service for the right reasons, a person who believes that each individual should be protected under our system, and that as Secretary of Labor, he will use that position to bring the type of balance that we need in our commercial communities, to protect working people and businesses so that the American economy can grow and everyone can benefit from our great economy. I would urge my colleagues to support this nomination and certainly to support moving forward on an up or down vote for the Secretary of Labor.